If you watch these videos before, you know that I enjoy being out here in the Cheyenne National Grasslands. It's about 50 miles southwest of Fargo, North Dakota. Part of what I do out here is I help maintain the North Country National Scenic Trail. This is one of the posts for it. One of the things I do is, if you see this little square, it's got the number 28 in it. 31 miles of the North Country National Scenic Trail come through the Cheyenne National Grasslands. Beginning at the west boundary of the grasslands, it starts with number 1. And if I go back behind me to the east boundary, we get to number 31. Well, these signs get pretty beat up over the course of time with the weather and different conditions out here. One of the things I do is I come out with paint and a brush. I come out, little brush, little can of paint, and darken the numbers. Do I have to do this? No, nobody says I have to. I think it's important, at least for myself, to know what mile marker I'm at, what post I'm at, and having these being a little darker, they stand out so you can see them from a distance along the way, because there's lots of wooden posts, but the markers are obviously only every mile. Would anybody care if I didn't do these? Probably not. Does anybody know that I do these? Well, I guess you know that now if you're watching. But I don't do it for the recognition. I do it because it's something I want to do. It's something that's important for me, and I hope it benefits others. So that's going to be part of what we're going to think about today on this second part of the series of 4-letter words. An educator, a traveler, and a person who doesn't settle for easy answers posted a thought-provoking meme or statement online a while back. The purpose was to generate some discussion. I'm sharing that with you today because within the sentence that's in there is the 4-letter word that we're looking at today. If you chose the word good, you're correct. It was a good guess. But when we think about good, or at least as I want to talk about it today, I'm not looking at something that tastes good, something that is good for you. It's that way we label things. That person's a good person. If you're of a particular, I suppose, religious bent, you're a good Christian. Well, what's a bad one? But that sets up the point. Good in comparison to bad. And none of us, I don't think, would label ourselves as bad people. We're all good people. When we think about the differentiation between good and bad as we talk about human beings, there's often contingencies to it. It's what benefits me is often what is a definition of good. We don't have to look too far into the political realm of this country to see that legislation was drafted which was for the common good. However, it failed to pass because neither party wanted the other one to get credit for it. It might have been good, but if it's not recognizable, if I don't get patted on the back, if I don't get votes, if I don't get praise, don't do it. Good, how do we define it? And if we look at that meme, that statement once again, If there's good people, then if those who don't respond to our goodness, are they somehow necessarily bad? The little statement said about being ungrateful. But is gratitude, again, is somebody's gratitude contingent upon whether or not we're going to be good? Or do we do it simply because that's what we want to do? Because then we get into, again, labeling, and we mess up that whole understanding, not only of the word, I think, but more importantly, we destroy relationships. And labels become more than words. They become ways of looking and reacting to one another. If we're using the Christian perspective or Christian scriptures in the Gospel of Luke, the 6th chapter, Jesus says this, "And if you do good to those who are good to you, what credit is that to you? But love your enemies, do good to them, and lend to them without expecting to get anything back." I think that's a valid point. It's not about labels of good. It's about an internal characteristic. It's about action that says, I'm going to do this, whether I get praise, recognition, whether anybody sends me a card, whether I get an award, because it's the thing I want to do. Once again, I appreciate that you take your time out of your day, that you listen, that you watch. Please provide any feedback you wish to give me about this, and just thoughts about four-letter words.